This is going to be a replay cast of Division East, Council of War versus Sixth Sense. I do not have the draft information, but I do have map bans. Council of War banned Alterac Pass and Volskaya Foundry, and Sixth Sense banned Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity. When I set up the stream, I noticed Sixth Sense had a placeholder logo, so I went ahead and made my own. I hope they're not offended. I just took a Bruiser Willis still and made it black and white and gave them some logo. I hope that they have their own logo soon. And now I'm echoing because I'm listening to my own stream. Let's mute that. So yeah, let's get into it. I have the first game ready to go. And let's unpause it and see what happens. On the left side, we have Council of War, CW Ender on Johanna, Blank on Nazebo, Diamond 1 above all on Anduin, Dovetail on Leoric, and on Lunara, hanging back is Night Knight. For Sixth Sense, Ace up on Vala, Exorcist on, I don't know who that is, Jaina, Soup Kitchen on Brightwing, Spelunk on Artanis, and Pickrook on Anubrak. We have Toad build for Nazebo, Sentinel Wisp, Blind for Joe, Arrow build for Vala, Legion Master Anub, Protector of Ire for Stacks, Hypershift, and Fingers of Frost. Mid-battle, Exorcist taking some damage, Night Knight taking some damage, we're getting healed up. Just some poking. 5 versus 5. Polymorph comes out, swap, doesn't connect. Nothing too crazy. No experience seems to be getting missed just yet. Council of War does rotate a little bit faster. Camps will be up in 15 seconds. We'll see if the teams prioritize those. Leoric versus Artanis. Just a little bit of back and forth. The 4v4, they're rotating, not really fighting each other. Prioritizing the soak and the gem pickups. Lunara does have vision on the enemy team as they rotate down. But it looks like 5-man gank onto bot lane. Takes out the Artanis as Lunara goes for the siege camp bottom as it spawns. Well, 15 seconds after, but getting the kill will give them that experience lead as Sixth Sense will have to adjust their rotations to catch up. So that's a nice gank on the side of Council of War as they get level 3. Ender may be a little ambitious going to look at that camp. There are 4 people on it and another right next to it. The swap just barely doesn't connect, but the Iron Skin was there in anyway. And CW Ender does walk out. Bottom camp taken, siege camp about to be taken. Council of War doesn't do theirs just yet. They've been soaking the lanes instead. Top lane, Nazebo getting some stacks. He did go big voodoo for lots of hit points. We could get a big fat voodoo boy at some point. The camp does push up to the gate, but then the minions connect right in time, so perfect defense opportunity for Council of War. Jaina is here to put pressure on the buildings, so they are getting some structure damage, but if they had just left the camp, it wouldn't have done anything at all. Meanwhile, Lunara didn't seem to take the PvE build, but she's taking camps anyway. Seems to be working out. As Johanna gets polymorphed and stunned, the Iron Skin is there. She doesn't get blown up quite in time. I imagine with some stacks on the Vala, that will soon change as the levels go up. So Lunara is playing a little aggressive. It hasn't punished yet, but it may come back to bite her. A couple members from Council of War hearth back to top up. Their camp is pushing, but they are not pushing with it, so I don't anticipate too much value. Experience has evened up. An Uberak burrow charges 3 feet forwards. Does connect the stun, but doesn't get too much after that. Nazeebo traps Vala in the zombie wall, but she does get healed up just in time. I thought that was going to be a kill, but barely not. So still only 1 kill from that earlier gank. Low death fight so far. Council of War is taking a slight experience lead. They will reach 7s first, as rotation's interrupted by the stun from Anduin. Bot lane just poking each other. Just some poking back and forth, nothing too exciting. We do have Subdue and Sins Exposed, so sort of a punish build from Joanna as she gets stunned and polymorphed, but the Iron Skin is there. She does escape yet again. But again, she went from full to about 30%. And both teams have the turn-in possibility. A burrow charge onto Lunara, but the root does keep the enemy team back. Desperate Plea or Desperate Prayer, which one is it? Prayer. Does heal her back up. Turn-ins are happening. The bottom turn-in looks like Nazeebo is going to get the first objective of the game.
The blue team has done as I asked. The spiders shall aid them.
So Council of War looking to set up their first objective siege. Valar Hearthing for mana for the defense. Both teams, 5 members alive on the same talent tier. It all comes down to where they choose to attack and where they choose to defend from. Looks like the priority is going to be top lane, that is the boss lane. It is very common for teams to try to focus this one down the most. There's no one defending mid at the moment, so it's going to get some good wall damage. Similarly, the top towers are going down, the gate's already down. Tons of damage onto that Vala. Is there a heal in time? No. Brightwing doesn't quite have heals on demand, and the poison damage is enough to confirm the Vala kill. Anubarak walks into the zombie wall, unfortunately. Takes a bunch of damage, does get that punish healing reduction. But Hypershift comes in, he's just fine with his own shields as well. Wall goes down, but not a lot of fort damage. Mid wall does also go down. Heroics are here. Falling Sword, Ravenous Spirit, Leaping Strike. As the Entomb comes in on the Anubarak, he and Jaina both go down. Falling Sword on the back line, punish with the Subdue, big slow, but the focus is on Artanis. The back line just walks away, whereas the front line, all 3 of them are dead. 3 of them, like Jaina's not really front line, but she was up there. Went down as well. They also had Light Bomb. So that's a big opportunity with the kills and the heroic lead. They can keep pushing in on this wall. Get mid-wall. First tower goes down, the gate is low, but it looks like they're running out of steam with the minions being down, and 10s looming for 6 cents. So very successful first objective for Council of War. They do not have enough for the next turn-in, whereas 6 cents does, so Council of War might want to be watching those points. 6 cents only needs 4 gems, so almost anyone can turn those in with a simple wave clear. So denying it is going to be an uphill battle. Both teams take their siege camps. Looks like Council of War is rotating down to take the siege giants. I meant to say bruiser camps, not siege camps. My apologies. Before they go for the turn-in. Having the giants pushing with the turn-in would be nice, but it does give the opportunity for Council of War to clear out the bruiser camp. Now, the bruiser camp will be pushing in on a keep, so in order to push with it, they have to go quite far, and that's dangerous, so it's not a big deal. Both teams do now have turn-in. If Council of War turns in all of their gems from all of their heroes, they will get it. Bird Charge from Anubrat goes in on the Nazebo. He gets double sunned and swapped back into the team. The Anduin pull is enough to save him, however, as the counter kills onto Brightwing and Vala are good. Zombie Wall onto Anub. Subdue onto Artanis. Anub with his speed does walk out, but his whole team suffers in his place. So that's 4 more kills for Council of War, leading them to 9 against 0, and that's going to be a turn-in if they want it. Also a boss opportunity. There are 10 seconds on death timers, so it might be a bit ambitious, but it is an option. Leoric is turning in bottom with his 25, and it looks like they're just choosing to siege in top with the extra zombie walls. Get some damage before the objective appears. But with the Anub, with his beetles soaking minion shots and his body in the way, they're not going to get too much damage. They do seem to want this. It will give them an easier time on boss with nowhere for the enemy team to retreat to. Water Metal comes out and is immediately destroyed. It might have been a little premature. Blizzard onto the point. And that top fort does go down. Meanwhile, bottom, Leoric entombs the Artanis. We'll see if this leads to anything. The blind to save himself. Swat misses, and these two both stay alive. Meanwhile, top wall is getting pushed. We have the cocoon onto Anduin. Lunara chunks that down with her poison very quickly, but I was going to say the Vala ult is good onto the Lunara to do a ton of damage, but Nazebo is there to take out the Vala and the Brightwing, so Lunara survives. It was very close, they almost got that kill, but maybe stepped up a little too far to be safe. So top keep looks like it's going to go down. Death timer's still low for the side of Sixth Sense. So all 5 are back up for the defense. Mid keep very low, but it might be time for Council of War to back off.
It is over for now.
The frogs don't quite make it. The spiders, without the spider build, aren't doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, I did skip over heroics for Sixth Sense. We have Grain of Vengeance, Cocoon, Suppression Pulse, Blink Heal, and Water Elemental.
The gems. Bring them. Bring me their power.
The spiders have been cleaned up, and Sixth Sense still does have a turn-in, but they do have quite an experience deficit to catch up on, as a noob looks to sneak the turn-in without getting caught. It looks like that will be successful.
Well done, Red Team. My power is yours.
And this is Sixth Sense's chance to push back the lanes, gather some experience, and maybe get some structure damage of their own.
Descend, my daughters. Descend and destroy the blue team.
So we have Spelunk in the top lane, soaking. We have members in all 3 lanes, not really pushing, more soaking the experience, but they catch Council of War chase coming in on them, and they don't push too far ahead. They don't want to risk dying. So the clear is going to be fairly free from Council of War. A noob stepping up, mainly to be in range of that experience. Being down a talent tier is never a good idea. You want to mitigate that as much as possible. But at this point, splitting up is also dangerous, so we do have 5 soaking together. It is a small map, so you can do that just to be extra safe and not get caught out.
My web weevils have fallen.
The spiders have all fallen, but the lanes have been pushed back up to mid, so Sixth Sense has more vision and can feel safer about taking their own bruiser and just having a little bit more control of the map.
The clutch is ready to form again.
So both teams going to their bruisers. This is not going to be an invade from Council of War. They're giving their enemy team the chance to come back a little bit. They could have invaded with the talent advantage. All of the heroics were up, and they probably would win that fight. So just playing extra safe. Bush gank. They see Sixth Sense coming, but the engage isn't really there. There's not really a opportune. There it is, actually. The light bomb, falling sword does catch 2. Johann is alone in the back, doing a ton of damage. Meanwhile, her team takes out Vala in the front. Artanis very low. The suppression pulse comes out. Cocoon comes out. But now it's just disengage for Sixth Sense. They've lost 1. You don't want to lose more. And it looks like they will successfully get out. That Jo looked like she was going to solo 2 people on her own. But Anub'arak turns around, gets a double stun. Artanis gets the swap, and Lunara almost goes down. But the Anduin save is there. Without that, Lunara would have died probably 2 or 3 times already this game. But with it, she's been unkillable. Brightwing barely goes down in that back end. Blink heal looked like it was up, actually, so maybe had a chance to get out but didn't quite make it. And 20 is half a level away. Council of War is pushing in on the core. The light bomb takes out another Jaina. Leaping Strikes comes in. Spelunk very low as well. 3 more heroes go down. We do have 211 stacks on the Nazebo. Once he hits 20, if he even hits 20, he will be doing tons of damage. But the core is going down, and so 20 comes in as the core dies. We don't get to see what those 20s would have been. So Game 1 goes to Council of War. Just taking a look at these stats before we move on to game number 2. Nazebo, tons of siege damage, tons of hero damage. Vala did a bunch of hero damage as well, but just couldn't seem to confirm those kills. The Anduin saves, the Johanna blinds, just a little too much. There were a lot of very close fights. It was 16 kills to 0, but you get that 1 kill and snowball. It could have been a 5-man wipe on the other side very easily. So we'll have to see what they decide to change up in game number 2. And go from there. So I'm going to switch views and start loading up the next game. Let's see. I don't even know what the next map is. It looks like it's going to be Sky Temple. I do not know which team picked. It would have been up to Sixth Sense to choose if they want map pick or first pick, but without the draft information, the draft information without the ban information, I don't know. So we're just gonna go with what we have. It's just gonna take me a minute to load up the next replay. All right, map is loading. And here we are. So, on the right side, we have Sixth Sense with Ace up on Sylvanas, Pickrook on Garrosh, Porthos looks like he's on Tahaka, Pale Dragon on Brightwing, and Exorcist on Nazebo. Meanwhile, for Council of War in the blue side, D1 above all on, that looks like Deckard, Blank on Falstad, Dovetail on Hogger, Night Knight on Vala, and CW Ender on Muradin.
4, 3.
And my first question on this map is always, do we enter for Vision? Is there a big battle over the Vision camp? The answer is no. They're all going mid. Nope. They're going mid, going through the bushes, looking at each other. They know they're there, but no big engage. We do have Dwarf Block, Gathering Storm, Field Study on the prow versus Might of the Banshee Queen. This time we have Spiders, Enhanced Agility, Hypershift, and Warbreaker. I personally am a big fan of Spider build, as Murden does get thrown in, he hops out and gets polymorphed, but he's just fine. Meanwhile, Hogger versus the Haka in the top lane. I am an idiot. I am quite an idiot, and I did not change the view. I thought I did. Oh. You know what I can do? We can go backwards.
One. Let your battle begin.
I'm surprised, because maybe my hockey didn't work. We're going to watch all that again. This time actually watching it. One good thing about replay casts is you can always just go back and do it again. Again, no vision. Dahaka rotates top, takes the vision while mid-brawl happens. And there's the Murden jumping out from the throw. As Council of War rotates down. Four-man rotates on both sides. Another throw from the Garrosh, but he gets stunned out. Decker just walks away. As Council of War does start their siege camp. Looks like 6 is doing the same thing. As Vala anchors mid, and Nazebo does the same. As these teams are mirroring each other fairly well. No clear advantage to either side. False Dad's clearing it pretty quick. 3-man on the other side, just as quick. And now we see if they choose to push with these camps or go for the top camps. Garrosh goes to camp, starts it up. Looks like Nazebo's going to join him. As 3 members from Council of War do take out the siege camp and push bot lane. We have Dahaka joining the fray as well. So, slight priority on bottom lane for Council of War, whereas 6 looks like they're going to be focusing top lane, pushing with their camp. And that's going to be closer to the 2 objectives, which could give them some value when those spawn, but before that, quick tower going down. As Council of War takes their advantage. Sylvanas using the black arrows just to slow this damage down from the siege giants. As Garrosh arrives, looking for a throw, doesn't seem to find one. And the announcement for the camps is now up. Hogger looking to solo the Bruiser camp by himself. Tautologies are fun. Murden slowing down rotations, he can jump out, he should be alright, although with the Garrosh you're never quite sure. Hogger takes the camp, objectives up in 10 seconds. It just now occurs to me I probably don't need to have a stream delay, and so I can probably identify those mistakes sooner on a replay cast. Lessons learned for next time. We have Council of War starting the mid objective and top, as 4 members from 6 do push them off the mid objective. Garrosh gets a throw, there's a polymorph. CW Ender takes tons of damage, but there are potions, and he seems to be doing just fine. With 5 men on him, he barely took any damage at all, so it's pretty impressive. Night somehow manages to throw the needle between those frogs, but does take some spiders to the face and has to be careful of those. Nazebo is stacking them. He's at 30.
Blue team is crushed.
Vala taking tons of damage, almost goes down from the Sylvanas, but just runs away. Meanwhile, the siege camp and the top objective does push down the top fort. As Dahaka tries to clean that up. False Head comes in on the backside, trying to claim some shots, but doesn't want to get too close to that garage. This fight is covering a lot of ground. Muradin does jump in. It looks like Council of War, 5 men here, are really going to prioritize pushing them off this point. Meanwhile, tons of spider damage going out. He's up to 57 stacks on the Nazeebo level 1 quest. So they do take out a tower and a gate, whereas Sixth Sense took out the whole front wall mid, but they did lose their entire top fort. Both teams taking camps. Vala doing that rather quickly. She went arrow build with Monster Hunter, so not too surprising. Meanwhile, the whole team of Sixth Sense takes their siege camp bottom in just about the same amount of time. Throw onto the Muradin. Polymorph is there, but I would assume, I didn't see, but he still has his Dwarf Toss. But it looks like he doesn't need it, he just walks away. Muradin, a decent option into the garage as you just get yourself thrown and jump out. He jumps onto Ace. Sylvana's taking a ton of damage, but she just walks away. The phase shift is there. Falstad, meanwhile, taking a ton of damage on the other side. Vala looks like she'll walk out just fine. Meanwhile, top lane, Bruiser's doing Bruiser things, both at full health. No one in danger just yet. Last Sea Giant getting cleaned up. Both teams level 9. 10's on the way. A little bit closer for Sixth Sense. So even though they're down in structures, they're going to be the first to heroics as this objective spawns. We'll see if that gets them anything. Council of War has 20 seconds to find level 10. Garrosh hiding in a bush looking for a quick pick. Polymorph is there. It is the Muradin. He doesn't really want to throw the Muradin, but he'll take it. Polymorph comes after the jump, just barely. The Wailing Arrow, not enough to secure a kill. We do have Wailing Arrow, Ravenous Spirit, Isolation, Blink Heal, and Warlord's Challenge.
My magic flow
Against Avatar, Mighty Gust, Rain of Vengeance, Stay a While, and Portapult. As Brightwing gets isolated and taken out, Garrosh gets gusted back, and alone versus 5, he also gets taken out. That's a little bit unfortunate for the side of Sixth Sense. Those were the first 2 kills, though. So very pacifist game, almost. Low scoring, low killing game early on. As Deckard takes the objective, he can heal himself up quite a bit. His damage dealers all pushing in on the bottom fort. Meanwhile, Sixth Sense taking what they can, taking a siege camp.
blue team has destroyed a
Brightwing just kind of looking to see if she needs to phase shift anywhere. Dahaka soaking. Muradin jumps very deep, but it looks like nothing's much going to happen. The Ravenous Spirit comes out, throw in the Polymorph and the taunt this time. Rain of Vengeance comes out to slow the damage. Muradin jumps, but not far enough, and the spiders are enough to take him out. 86 stacks. The Widowmaker's almost finished. Only needs 14. That's 2 more spider throws, or 1 more good one, I guess. If he did 1 good one if all spiders attack. And he'll be fully stacked and dealing about 25% more damage with 1 more second duration. So it's a big deal when he gets there. Meanwhile, there is a throw onto Deckard, and Sixth Sense takes the boss. With the Muradin down and not there, they find their advantage. They take the boss. It looks like they're going to push on and take the siege as well. I don't think there's going to be any interrupt on this. Hogger's taking the top camp. Falstad's top, not flying in. This bottom fort is not long for this world. I now have people in chat. Hello, Prostman. Hello, Raka. Nice to see you.
red team has destroyed a fort.
Bottom fort goes down. Falstad on the flank. might be looking for a gust, but there's not really anything to gust. This is super dangerous. Falstad barrels away, Muradin jumps away, but he's still being chased. The blink phase shift revealed. Sixth Sense knows where he is. Garrosh is there for the throw. Doesn't decide to use it. His team goes for the camp instead. I thought that could have been a good chase kill in time for the next objective. But meanwhile, top camp pushing in on wall. Bottom objective being anchored by the Muradin as the siege camp gets cleaned up.
Yes. My magic.
It looks like they're just going to trade camps. Sixth Sense gets top and Council of War gets bottom. This is an advantage for Council of War as they do have a structure advantage. This is taking out keep wall, whereas Sixth Sense is only taking out a fort. They could push in on the fort to do some more damage to get the objective to push a little harder, but it looks like they just want to play safe. Experience is equal, so while the structure advantage is in favor of Council of War, the game itself is not too far away for either team. It is 2 kills to 2 kills, so a lot closer than last time. As these teams aren't really engaging each other too much. Here comes the Garrosh, but he's all alone at the moment. His team's nearby, but if he had gotten a throw, it wouldn't have amounted to much.
Red team is crushed before.
So he wisely just backs up to his team. Dahaka kind of gets caught out. He does burrow through the route. Dahaka, quite survivable. Does get thrown by his Garrosh and saved by the Brightwing. Garrosh throws out a taunt, throws out a throw. Very successful disengage on that side of Sixth Sense. Vala throws out a Rain of Destruction just to cancel their Ravenous Spirit. Tongue doesn't connect as Vala vaults away. And still, no more kills, just 2 to 2. Widowmaker's 95, very, very close, but Nazebo has been prioritizing lanes as Aesop walks right into a Muradin, gets stunned and deleted. That was an unexpected place for the other team to be, but they weren't showing on the map. You've got to be careful of bushes. Bush gang very successful as Council of War does come in to invade onto this siege, bruiser camp. A big taunt from Garrosh, but it's not enough to slow down Council of War. When you're taunted, you're still auto-attacking, so Garrosh was still taking damage. And his team not being there to kill anyone with those taunt, he does go down. The camp invade is successful. And this could be the first keep of the game going down.
Soon they shall bask in my glory.
We have 5 members pushing in. The Tongue doesn't quite connect. He does burrow away from the Stormbolt as Council of War backs off, looking to take the objective. We do have 16s to 16s, so that's a big talent tier for each side. We'll have to see if that changes anything in this game. 5 members alive for both teams. All heroics will be available in 3 seconds. So both teams have the opportunity to make this a big play. Dahaka going in first. Barely misses the drag because of the barrel roll, but he does push Council of War off the point. Meanwhile, Vala alone on the bottom point. Her team is rotating down with her as Garrosh is also rotating down. But Sylvanas stops to hide in the bush. Garrosh alone in the enemy team. He sees 3 members. Wailing Arrow comes through. Haunting Wave comes through. Dwarf Toss out. Vala gets thrown in. Stay a while and listen is there. Ults being thrown everywhere. Members all over the place. 5 versus 5 in the bottom lane. Health bars going down. Falstad falls first. Vala very low, but so is Dahaka. Dahaka goes second. Dwarf Toss back in the Brightwing. She goes down, as does the Sylvanas. That was very tense. Everyone was low. Damage going out everywhere. And Nazebo looks like he's going to be the last to die. Garrosh threw him out, but Muradin chased him down with the Dwarf Toss. Muradin looks like he's going to the objective. It's going to be Muradin versus Garrosh. Garrosh throws him off for a few shots. But with Muradin's team coming up, there's the Hogger. I don't see Garrosh winning this fight. He does get his quest completed, but he goes down in the process. And mid-objective will go over to the side of Council of War. I don't think that'll take down the keep. It'll be close. But one level advantage for Council of War at this point. The keeps does survive for the moment.
Of the temple sleeps.
But now it's a race to 20. So I imagine Council of War is going to be playing back, just soaking, taking camps, and not being too aggressive. This could be a time for Sixth Sense to force the issue and try to take boss. But 20 is almost here, and they do have the Falstad Gust, so I personally wouldn't go for it. And there's 20. We do have Wind Tunnel, Perfect Gems, Acrobat, No Control, and Rewind. Perfect Gems just for Ruby, it looks like. Still, Perfect Gems is a very fun talent. I always take it in ARAM. And with the 20 advantage, Council of War starts the boss. Not too surprising. And there's no contest. Sixth Sense doesn't even come to try. This will push in on their core, so it's a question of, do they want to push with it? The answer is no. Muradin wants to go in on the point and contest this top camp. Falstad uses his Gust to secure it, and Brightwing gets caught and goes down. And with 20s and 5 versus 4, Council of War takes no prisoners and just pushes every advantage they have and takes out 3 more kills. Looks like they're choosing to take the top fort. They could walk right past it. Bottom keep is down, and the boss is on the core already. Looks like Isolation goes out onto Vala, but that's not enough to save the core. That's going to be GG. Council of War takes it 2-0. Falstad doing a lot of siege damage, followed a lot of hero damage. It was 12 kills to 4 this time, but for 70% of the game at least, the kills were very even, the game was very even. Could have gone either way. It was just that one big mess of a team fight bottom that Council of War won, that brought them ahead and gave them the victory, 2-0 versus Sixth Sense. So GG's to both teams.